What's up, guys? This is my second time recording this because my first video the voice was all messed up. So this time it's gonna be better now. Um, yeah, we're doing Precious from Hack the Box. It's a easy Linux machine. It's part of liankusangi's OSCP prep list. So that's there as well. Obviously, I've pretty much already done this because I recorded a whole damn video of it. I reset it, so hopefully you guys can follow along. I'm going to tell you as well all the steps that I did in the rabbit holes that I've kind of went through and the way that I made notes. So yeah, you guys have a good idea of what I'm actually doing and thinking in the background. So yeah, let's go over here now. Alright then, so we started off with a port scan. I ran an all TCP port scan. We got SSH and HTTP on port 80. And yeah, and then I did a scan using default scripts, and I scanned the version. We got all this information, and then I also scanned UDP ports, and we pretty much got nothing on this. So from here, as nmap is saying, let's add precious.hackthebox to our executable/host file. I think it's already added. Let me just confirm. Yep, it's already there for me. So let's visit this. Let's visit this website. Precious dot hack the box. Now from here, the first thing that I did was I went straight to. 1 second, I'm getting a call. Let me just pause this. Okay, I'm back. Yep, so the first thing that I do is I take a look at this. I usually play around with the website, use it like a normal user. But obviously we only have this form and there's nothing else that's clickable. So when we click here, view source page, we have no info here, no URL, no comments with information, all that. So pretty much no information right now. I need to get more information at this point to understand, or else this would be our only way in. But before we just go and do this all right away, it's always good to look at everything in a broader view, in case if this is a rabbit hole, it's going to mess you up big time and you never know that perhaps there's a subdomain or something. So yeah, from here what I did was I actually went with subdomains, and I started a scan for it. So yeah, this was the scan that I ran. I filtered it by 145, and the reason for that is, if you guys don't know, yep. So I filtered size by 145, as most or all of these ones are saying 145 with 3 words, which is probably an error message. And I ran it. I ran the whole scan and nothing came up from it. So the next thing that I did was the directory scan. So I went ahead and did this. Fuzz. Let me just make this more clean for you guys. And yep. So we ran the scan, and after completing it, nothing came up as well. And here is where I put in my notes, nano notes, web scans. We can put over here. We used fuff, and the word list that we used was directory small 1.3. Nothing came, right? No results. So I put that in my notes just to know. I'm actually going to also add one more thing to it. We can put here try other word lists. So I didn't try actually any word lists after this, because usually with HackTheBox it's usually this directory list 2.3 small.txt or the medium one that works. So we kept this over here for now. We'll come back if we really need to. From there, I looked at the web technologies to find anything interesting. I did find this Passion Passenger, which I've never came across. So from here, I actually did Sursploit, and I put this, or Fusion or something, Passenger, yeah, whatever it's called. We got no results. Obviously, played around with the search, and I got this, which is definitely not the version that is not going to be compatible with this. So from here, I did nano notes. Let's go with the web technology and put this. Nothing found. Another thing to do is when you don't have any results coming from search exploit, it's always good to do a Google search for this. So if you go over here and let's do a Google search for this, and let's just put exploit. I did look around all of these. This one stood out to me, but even then, reading around, the version is 5.1. Nothing really suitable for our version, so I kept it in the back of my mind. That's why I kept it in my notes, and I continued on then. And from here, after knowing that nothing was working here, and I still haven't finished using this site as a normal user, so this is the time where I play around with this field. From here, I started burp, and let's start a web service. Just click OK here. Python 3, great. So now let's use burp proxy and change this to HTTP 10.10.14.5 and /test. Let's see what comes up. And we get this error message, cannot load remote URL. From here, what I did was I wanted to play around with this. So what I did was I changed the encoding. Actually, I did this, then HTTP. I did this with still no, it kept showing as cannot load remote URL. So from here, I was like, I want to get like a solid, um, you know, solid capture on it. So I made a nano test file, or sorry, touch test, and ran this again. And from here, let's see what happens. Started getting this, right? But I was still experiment with this. I was experimenting with this, and from trial and error, when I removed test, I actually ended up getting this type of message. I also did it with 1.0. Also tried it with this as well. I don't know if it's going to show up for this. Yep, it did not. But yeah, for this it did. And from here I was scrolling down, and it's very good to take a look at all these things, understand what's going on. This is pretty much a PDF type of document, and eventually you will find over here another, yep, right over here, another application with its version number. Now we can just copy this, and let's see what we can find with Searchplate on this. No results. So first of all, we should play around with our search. Let's remove V because we don't really find that on this. Alright, so still no results. What I like to do is remove one number at a time to see the results of it. And eventually we come across this command injection, which is worth a try. Even though the version number is not the exact same, it is extremely nearby, like they're close by. So it's in cases like this, the exploit usually sometimes works. So let's import this, what is going on, and yep, let's move this and call it exploit. And from here, if we look at the exploit, we can take a read at it. we'll notice that it's taking a couple of arguments. It also has a reversal option on this from here. Um, and it gives also usage examples as well. And it's using Python 3. So we're going to run this with Python 3 now. So Python 3 exploit.py-h. This also shows us the commands that we can run, and the one that we're interested in is the reverse shell command. So let's do tag s, and I've already ran this before. So here is the command. I'm also going to explain what it's doing in 1 second. Let's start this. Alright, oops, why is this in use? Because of this. Great. So over here, we write our own IP, and over here is the port number we wanted to reach back to. -W is the target, so this hole is the target, and P is the parameter it's looking for. If you go to burp, the parameter is URL. This is where it's going to start inputting the payload. So from here, we can just click on enter. Payload sent to website, and exploit performed action. And here we have connected. So here we can do ID, and we are the Ruby user. And we can do host, no sorry, host name, precious. Great. Let's get a full interactive terminal. So from here, these are the usually commands that I use for these type of stuff, for getting a TTY, a full TTY. When I ran Python, it says Python not found, so it probably has another version of Python. Let's try with Python 3. And it worked. Great. Now from here, we hit Control Z, and then we enter this command. So let's copy the next command and do Control Z. Perfect. And from here, we got to do export term variable. Press enter, and the last one is right over here. Great. So over here, we have a couple of files. Obviously, it's very good to take a look at the configuration files for any passwords or anything that you can find over there. So I went into the config directory, and from here I noticed the environment.rb cat, whoops. Alright. Scared me for a second. Thought this PC was going to crash. Alright. And we didn't find anything over here. But the thing is now, it really hinted to environment variables being implemented. And it's very good to take a look at it, because usually it could have credentials in it. So what I did was I did env and pressed enter. Now I looked through all this, besides the version numbers, which I did note, nothing stood out except this one thing, which was, let's see if we can find it again. User Ruby, do this. Home directory for Ruby, which is honestly very uncommon. You don't really see something like this happening. You know, having a home directory as Ruby. So what I did was I went straight into this cd ls, and from here I found a .bundle file. So I went into .bundle, and there was a configuration file. Now I don't know, like, if they've made Ruby as the application's name or whatever, because over here, you know, they're implementing Ruby. If you scroll to the very top, runtime is Ruby. So I was like, is this even a user or something? That's why it's very suspicious. I did not think of it as a user, but it could also be a user named Ruby. But I don't think that was the scenario in this box. So but it was configuration config, and here we find Henry. So there's a user Henry on this machine, and that seems to be its password. But let's do Henry, and put this in. Great. So now let's go to Henry's home directory, cd Henry, and this is where the user.txt file is. So after this, I ran a sudo dash -l, and which you should always do at the beginning when you land on a host. These are like the main commands that you do. And I noticed this over here, and this is obviously going to be the way in. Unfortunately, this is like a full path command, so you can't really use Ruby out of get the fuck out bins. You got to use this whole thing. So the only way in would be to privesc is obviously going to be using this route, but it's going to involve this update dependency.rb then. I'm going to cat this file. So I'm just going to cd opt and then cat update. From here I was reading the file and I didn't notice anything interesting. My coding skills isn't as great, but the only thing that stood out was that the read.file dependency.yaml over here. And I was like, okay, it's reading a file called dependency.yaml, but there's no absolute path. Where is this dependency.yaml? And from this, before I went into depth, I wanted to check out the other directory in this, which is the sample one. And from here we find the dependency.yaml file. And I don't really think that it's using that. If you run a sudo command over here, sudo taco, let's run it. And right over here it says dependency.yaml. It has no, it doesn't know where it is, correct? So something that we can abuse now, and basically writing our own dependency.yaml file and then running this from the directory that we wrote that file, right? Since we can't edit this file, we're unable to edit it. Let me show you the perms. There we go. Yep. Only read and execute. We can't really edit this at all. So from here, what I did was research. Like when you come across something that you got no idea of, you got to do your research on this. So I copied this whole thing over here and put it into Google with the word exploit. These couple of things pop up. Universal RCE with Ruby YAML.load version 2.7. You can also do here Ruby version 2.7. And taking a look at this, understanding the code, it appears that they're making a file over here, and using this to read the file, and when you execute it, it executes the ID command, which is listed over here. It's a good read. You definitely read through this, but I'm not going to do it right now. I've already done this. I read it twice. So let's copy this and go to our home directory now. Since we don't have permissions over here, let's do it from our home directory. Why is this machine so slow? CD I think that's okay. So we can do nano. the file that we want to name it. Copy, nano. Let's copy this, paste it. And save it. Now running this command from here, let's run it with sudo. We'll notice that the id command was triggered and over here. So now let's edit this command dependency and put a reverse shell. Now we know Python 3 is already installed on here, so I'm going to use a Python 3 reverse shell. You go over here, put our IP, put the port, and this should be good. Let's change this actually. Let's just put 337. Copy, paste, sudo cat 1337. Paste. And now let's run the command. Okay, let's click enter. And it stops over here because our code has ran, and here we should have a connection. Click ID, and there we go, we're now root. So cd root ls, there we go, that's the root.txt. So I'm very tired now because this is the second time I got to record this. Hope you guys enjoyed, and next time when I get a bit free and there's not much noise in my house, I'll try to do this from scratch without doing it beforehand. Alright, thank you guys for watching.